Hey y'all, this is Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey Kat. And this is the Fake Ass Book Club. Wait, can we both say it or no?
So welcome back, everybody. This is your girl, Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey, Kat.
Hey, Moni.
Welcome back, guys. It's another fun episode.
We're getting it how we live it.
We are. We are here to talk about The Other Significant Other this week, Friend by Rhaina Cohen. I'm very excited about that. And this book, remind me, I feel like I asked you that last time. Remind me how we got to this, because this was a book recommended by...
How did we get here?
How did we get here?
We're
definitely supposed to be here, though.
We are supposed to be here.
For sure.
So I heard about this book while I was listening to Trevor Noah's podcast, What Now? And he had on a guest, Rhaina Cohen, the author, and he specifically brought her on because he wanted to get his other podcast host off of his back about finding a wife. Like, especially when the host was like, Trevor, you need a wife. And he was like, I have people in my life who care about me. I don't think I necessarily need that. So she came on and was like, yes, a lot of times in our lives, the most significant people in our lives aren't necessarily a romantic partner.
I love this.
Yeah.
So that's how we got here, guys.
And so then I was like, okay, that legitimizes my life now. So like, 'cause so many times people are like, oh, poor single you must be so lonesome. It's like, not really.
I feel amazing. Actually.
It's like, I actually have to work really hard to carve out some alone time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I realized this week I have the best problem in the world, which is I don't have enough time to do all the things I want to do. Like, my life is so full of experiences that I want to have that I don't have time for them all. And that's a pretty great problem.
I feel like we talk about this. It's like, oh my God, I'm tired from all the abundance.
Of the abundance, yes.
abundance.
So much abundance. So that it's like we always say, it's this or nothing.
It's this or nothing, you guys. So I'm going to give you a quick little blah, blah, blah about the book, guys. So The Other Significant Other by Rhaina Cohen is a captivating exploration of relationships, focusing on the often overlooked and misunderstood dynamics between friends, family, and non-romantic but significant relationships. The book delves into the complexities of these relationships, offering insights into how they shape our lives, influence our decisions, and contribute to our overall well-being. So I like it.
Here.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I'm excited to jump into it.
I am too, friend. So I think before we do that, you guys, it's only right for us to dedicate this opposite. What is that?
Dedicate this opposite.
No, I can't sing that. Wait.
No.
Sorry, guys. Almost got canceled.
Canceled.
Oh, shit. Damn it. That always happens. So we're gonna dedicate this episode, you guys, like we always do. So hands over your hearts, everybody. First and foremost, as always, we want to dedicate this episode to our patrons. You guys are so cute and sweet, and we love you so much. Thank you so much for your continued support. And this week, and I'm gonna dedicate this episode to my sweet baby daughter, who just turned 10, who I love dearly, okay? I just did this last weekend with my lovely son, and it's her turn this week. I can't believe both my kids are double digits. This is crazy. It's going so fast. She is my little homie, man. I love her so hard. She's so sweet, so funny, so smart, so empathetic, so loving. So just all of the things. I love my daughter so hard. And also to the person who made her possible, my husband. His birthday is the same day as hers, so two of my faves, man. I gotta give it up to them. And then also too, I gotta shout out my husband's twin sister, who is my sister-in-law. She's amazing as well. So I got 3 birthday wishes and 3 wonderful, lovely people who I love dearly. So that is my dedication. What about you, friend?
Yes, that's quite the dedication, and well done. My dedication is going out to the Truth of Freedom, the African Dysphoria to Afrofuturism. So this is an exhibition that's going to be at Newfields from May 31st to July 16th. And they picked one of my paintings to be a part of the exhibit. Super excited. So yeah, you'll be in the building Thursday for the opening reception. And it's one of my favorite places in the world. It's had its dedication over.
Okay. Yes.
But, it's had its ups and downs, its accusations and stuff. People are like, oh, they're racist. Guess what? It's Indiana. You're not really going to get away from racism. So we're just going to keep showing up and living in the truth and freedom. Living in the truth of our freedom, which is, even though people might like to divide things off and keep things for their core white audience, we're actually part of the core audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we've been here. So like
so
this, yeah, we're
talking back.
We're talking back. Like we insist to be a part of the conversation and a part of the community.
Right. Good
So,
luck ignoring.
Yeah, good luck.
Not
We're
gonna
pretty loud.
And annoying. So there's that.
No, we're delightful. We're very colorful. I told you about that one time I took my daughter to the urgent care, and she had fallen at summer camp.
She couldn't get
and we're
up.
just, clearing, make sure she didn't have a concussion. So the doctor comes in the room and he was like, "Oh, you're both colorful." And I was like,
Are we though?
I mean, I guess we
Compared
had
to
on
what?
colorful. I guess we had on like clothing with colors in it. It was a weird thing to say.
I hate that.
He was trying to be nice though, but it was just kind of like, just in general, like, I think this is a pretty universal rule. Like, don't be too specific about your compliments. Like, and especially don't necessarily comment on people's physical appearance right away. And be like, "Oh, you look nice," or "You're looking well." I think that's usually a good thing to say.
Yeah.
Like, where you don't have to be like, "Oh, like, you don't look as dusty as usual." It's like,
That could be true, right?
right.
But unkind.
Exactly. So usually
To point out the level of dustiness or the
Yeah.
the shift.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Okay. Well, now that we got that out the way, you guys, let's dig into this book, The Other Significant Other. So, what were your thoughts just overall before we kind of get into it? Like, what do what did you think?
Oh, well, can I tell you about Rhaina first? Lord.
Yes, please. Let's do that.
Yeah, let me
Let's
tell
go back.
you about my friend
Let's go
Rhaina
on.
here, because Rhaina, it was relatable. Okay. So Rhaina Cohen is the producer and editor for NPR's Enterprise Storytelling Unit, working across embedded, invisibilia, and rough translation. Cohen was Marshall Scholar at Oxford, where she earned a master's in comparative social policy. She holds a bachelor's degree in American Studies from Northwestern University. As of 2018 F.A.B. fellow, she studied journalism, ethics in Germany and Poland. So she's fancy. She's bona fide.
Schmancy.
Yes.
Okay.
So she knows what she's talking about.
I like it.
So when she first started describing her relationship with her friend M,
Yes.
I was seeing some parallels. I was like, is she describing a relationship that I have with Moni?
Really?
Yes. Like, in a lot of ways, it was kind of very similar. She sounded more like you, and I sounded more like M.
Really?
Yeah, especially down to her, like, complaining about being cold and stuff. Like, it was a lot of parallels. I didn't write them all down, but I was just like, okay, this is speaking to me.
Okay.
Where it's just kind of like, yeah, I can't really... like necessarily, like, I'm not sure if best friend encompasses it all. Where it's not that, to me, like, that's not a complete enough. Like, no, you're not getting
like
everything that this person
understand.
is to me. But I have to say, I thought it was very well written, and it made me cry.
What?
To be fair, though, I cry a lot.
Okay. Well, so, I want to talk about some of the themes or talking points in this book because there were a lot of them. And, one of them is the importance of non-romantic relationships. Now, not to bring up specifically the fact that I feel like it's important, I think same sex, for me, it's like, I have a lot of girlfriends who I love deeply and have, obviously platonic relationships with. And I see the importance in those. But I also, because I have siblings who are opposite sex, I have those same sex or opposite sex ones. So I see the importance of both. And I feel like this is why I'm like, man, you gotta have like some platonic relationships that are male based, because platonic relationships that are non-sexual, that are just based in I just love you and I see you, it's so validating and it feels so nice. And I think that it's special no matter where you find it. And I don't know, that's why I hold on to my friendships. Like, even if they're people I don't see all the time, like, I'm always holding space for people who I love. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not to say that I don't have like standards or requirements or boundaries around it, but you know, I'm not somebody who like, it's like, well, they didn't call me this last quarter. They didn't text me back within a certain amount of time. So
and now you're gone.
Yeah, but you know.
Take your knives and go.
But take your knives and go.
Or pack your knives and go.
Pack your knives and go. But I'm not that. I think because I want that space when I'm not necessarily showing up in your everyday life. It's just like, but when I see you though, I love you. Like, I want to be able to still share whatever it is that we can have.
Yeah, to get there's a lot of joy there.
Yeah, so I love that. And what would you say is the significance of platonic relationships in your life or in other, and you know, just in general, like,
well, I mean,
compared to maybe
this is pretty much all I have, so I don't have.
That's all I got.
That's all I got. Like, that is the majority of. That's pretty much all of my relationships. So
all of mine except for one, just about though.
Yeah, like for most, like it's not a. I like that she brought up in the book how sort of modern capitalist culture, it's set up to have you seeking like this just one person, because it almost makes you have to generate more capital because you're not getting multiple support from other places. So it makes you engage more in sort of paternalistic capitalism. Ooh. I like how she brought that up. Like, this isn't a coincidence, because she's like, we don't necessarily see this in other cultures. I think for me, very early on, because I've always liked books, I was introduced early to the concept that my closest relationships wouldn't necessarily be with my romantic partner. The fact that, especially heterosexual, since I'm heterosexual.
What?
So, sorry guys. I hate to announce this during Pride Month. That's crazy. That is crazy. I know. And this is how you know it's not a choice, because if I could choose something else, I would.
It's like, you know what?
Because that means my romantic partner has to be a man, and I don't get those. So, yeah. And it's not just a me problem. Historically, this has been a problem across like the earth. So the idea that men and women have always had trouble sort of relating to each other, in a lot of cultures, they just assume that your quote unquote soulmate is going to be someone of the same sex who can possibly understand you. So I always kind of moved like that, where I was like, yeah, I can see that, especially when I look at the lives of older people and how they live their lives and how they live. Like, it's not necessarily like they just only spend time with well, for one, most women outlive their husbands. So I just observed very young, it's mostly women who are, you know, older women who are having these relationships, and it wouldn't, like the support and the companionship they get would be from their either close friends or family. So I was like, yeah, I want to make sure I really pour into those relationships, and especially because my romantic relationships have been disasters. So it hasn't been a source of security or
not complete disasters at all times, were they? I mean, there were times where they didn't. Okay. But so platonic relationships.
Sorry, I'm trying to think back to that really healthy, fulfilling relationship. Give us a moment. Hold on.
Okay, never mind.
Back to Moni.
Yeah, no, and I think platonic relationships are really special too, because I feel like a lot of times you're getting, you know, you're just, I don't know, it's a level of support, and I don't know. Like,
well,
you feel seen in a way too.
But she's not just talking about platonic relationships. She's talking about really significant, like, this is my person.
Right. So that's what's tricky. So when I'm reading it at first I was like, okay. So I'm saying platonic to indicate that we're not hunching on each other because the way that they're talking about each other in these books, you would think that they would be hunching.
It's so intimate.
Yeah, the intimacy that exists in that space is something that I think that like.
Well, we've been programmed societally to think
like,
that only exists in a romantic context.
So y'all be hunching on the side. Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Well, and just like when they brought up Oprah and Gail and people just refuse to believe they're just friends because they're so close.
Exactly.
It's the same thing with like, it's trying to explain, it's like making space for all these different relationship orientations. And I think that now that we're moving into a space where we now accept different, like not everything has to be this binary.
Yeah.
Where it's just either you're this or you're that. Where it's like, no, there's actually a lot of things in between, and we can make space and policy and society. Well, and even society, because when they're talking about like hospital visitations, where there's people who, you know, if you have a same-sex partner and before same-sex marriage and you're in the hospital, they won't let your partner in. Once again, what is so hard about lying? Like, I would just lie and be like, yeah, that's my brother. And be like, okay, go ahead. Like, no one's...
Let me see
I'm
your
sorry.
ID.
I'm sorry. Just no one's checking, though. Like, I've
Not
been in
usually.
hospitals and people have been like, oh, who are... Like, when my dad was sick and stuff, and they've been like, oh, well, who are you? And I'm like, I'm his daughter. And they're like, okay, go in. No one's checking ID.
Right.
No one's...
It's like, let me see.
Yeah, like there, it's just like okay, that makes sense. But like I said, but if you're not the same color, if the ages aren't right, like all of a sudden there's all these barriers in place. I love the story about the woman who wanted to step in the parental role for her single friend who had just had a child with special needs. And they were like, oh, we need something in place because if something ever happens to me, you need to be a part of his life. And they're not, legally, you're not recognized as anyone to him. You're a legal stranger. I like that she used that term a lot.
Yeah. That was wild too. And I never even, I mean, like this book really, I mean, because I've thought about the fact that like you could have a soulmate who's not necessarily like the person you're like in a romantic relationship with. But when you consider, you know, like you've seen deep and lasting friendships. Like I've seen people who have been friends for a long time, or, you know, you're like, dang, I mean, they're super close and you feel like, okay, this is something beyond a friendship that you know is not romantic and it's intertwined. But I never thought about it in terms of like two people who aren't married, who are the same sex, who are like raising a kid together. But at the same time, you think about society. I mean, like our culture has been, I don't even know what you want to call it, like broken down to the point where it's like the community part is broken. Like we don't.
Yeah, we're so
raise
isolated.
like everything. It's like single family homes. Like I think it was a concerted effort at some point to sort of separate us from each other because
Money.
the idea, money,
For money. Yeah.
dollar signs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really sad because it takes more than just like how we're mentioning, like it takes more than just your romantic partner to get through life, because there are certain things you shouldn't expect one person to be everything. It's the same thing when you're a parent.
Yeah.
Like you can't expect, it's like, yo, I'm gonna need grandma, I'm gonna need auntie, I'm gonna need whatever. Like you need that community. And so like
Cousins, brothers, sisters,
Oh,
uncles,
please.
aunties. Come on, aunties.
Please
Auntie
bring-
team. Like, please. Like, you need all of that stuff. And I can remember when I was still coupled and my ex, like, there was this sort of resentment towards asking other family for help with, like, the kids and stuff. Like, it would be
then why didn't they help?
There's this idea that we should be enough, and like somehow we're shirking our responsibility if
Right.
I'm not, or, you know, between the two of us, we're not able to do everything.
I hate that.
Yeah, it wasn't great, and I wasn't raised that way. Like,
Where
to
did
me,
that come from?
it was from. I'll take this part out.
Where is it from, friend?
Well, no, because his sister had kids really young, and that took a lot of his parents' attention, and so.
Well, not specific to him.
Okay.
Meaning, like, where do you think that idea? So, like, you know, I mentioned
Toxic
like,
independence.
Yeah, like I think it kind of
Like, you should be able to, you're failing. If you can't do it all, you're failing.
Yeah, just
Where
this
it's
one
like,
little unit.
I'm just one little person. Like, what I observed growing up were a lot of sort of combined households. So I saw my grandmother and my aunt, like they lived in a duplex, and there was, it was just, I always, when I would go to Nashville, I was so envious because they were all so close knit, lived so close together, and it was just always, and I was just like, oh, that would be so nice, because it's like I'm lonesome so much. And so it would be nice to have that. Like I said, it's a lot of pressure on my mom too, because she's not my entertainment monkey. You know, like,
and that's hard. It's like, because again, like, it's super unfair to expect one person to be everything for you. You know, and I don't know where that idea originates from, where it's like you should be, you have to be the, you know, the lover, the best friend, the confidant, the, you know, advisor, you know, the
cook.
The cook, the cleaner. It's like, yo, this is a lot, and I mean, I guess it's honorable to want to be that for somebody. I think you should want to raise, you know, the bar, like whatever your personal best is, you should want to show up as that to your partner.
Sure.
But there are, you know, but at the same time, you can't do it all, and you shouldn't be expected to. You shouldn't really try to. It's so it's exhausting.
Well, and
too.
I liked it when Rhaina was talking about in her own life, when she's had these other significant others. She was talking about her really good close friend M, and then even as that relationship changed and it moved into something else. And she was like, that was also still very fulfilling. Like, even when we weren't as close and it moved into something else, she was like, this wasn't even something I knew to want. And she said that having these relationships strengthened her romantic relationship, because then she wasn't like expecting too much from her, you know, husband. Because it's like, well, he can't be everything. Like, he's just one person. So and then it helps with her other friendships too, because once again, you're able to draw different things from different people instead of just being like draining this one person.
Have you ever had a friend that's been like that? Like, have you ever had like a situation where you feel like either you have been expected to be this person's everything, or you expected them to be?
The former. So, and I would say like probably both of my marriages, like for sure, which is why that didn't work out, where there's just these unrealistic expectations, and I'm like, I'm not trying to do all that. Like, I'm showing up the way I was showing up before. Like, nothing's magic happened when we got married. Like, I'm still the same person. Like, I'm not about to like kill myself trying to prove myself worthy by being great at everything in the world.
So maybe that's the key though. Like, I think that's where, so when I'm saying platonic, so not necessarily, right, like we've established that like we're talking about something beyond just me. We're good friends that are platonic, but like these relationships that you build with people that are deeper bonds, right? That expectation isn't there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've been friends for a really long time, but it's not like I feel like you owe me anything necessarily, or that because we are friends the way that we are friends, there's this checklist of shit that like if she doesn't do these things, kind of like what I was saying before, right? Like, where it's like I don't necessarily have to talk to my friend who lives here because I know they have a full life, and it's like, but when the stars align and we get to see each other, I'm giving you everything because you are fulfilling a part of my personality that maybe I don't get to live out in my everyday life. You know what I'm saying? Or we just get to pick up where we left off. You know what I'm saying? And I always, my friends are so precious to me. I love it. I love it so hard. And, you know, I try not to want too much, but at the same time, like, I feel like if I ever felt like there were gaps where it was like, you know, so maybe there's a miscommunication about my expectations or something, I want to be able to verbalize those things, but at the same time, like, I feel like my friends can be who they are. Like, I get it. Like, I can understand where they are in their lives and not take anything personal. And then when I do get the chance to get in front of them,
you're talking about an absence of shame.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, where there's no shame.
Yeah, I just feel, and I feel like sometimes in relationships that's harder. Because you feel more needy, you feel
that expectation.
Yeah, that expectation. Whereas with your friends, it's like that doesn't really exist if you really have that sort of bond.
I like with some of our friends too, where, you know, we might refer to each other as baby mama. Yeah. Even though we don't we don't share any children, but there is that sort of where it's like, nah, this person is like more than just I like the term family. family, where you're my friend family.
Yeah,
Like
man.
there's this, or like when people would try to explain, like I said, to hospital staff, like who this person is to me, like
this
coming up
woman?
with like a social shorthand where it's like, yeah, this is like my emergency contact person, but also like this is someone you can talk to. This is my and she was talking about too how it's a matter of privilege, because for people who can afford it, you can like have someone major power of attorney and have all of these rights transferred over, where I like where she said like marriage shouldn't have the monopoly on this type of relationship, like this type of intimacy or this type of because she was just giving examples from different periods of times and countries where you see this. So it's like, well, if this is a natural state of being and something very regular that happens between human beings, like why don't we have vocabulary around it? And why aren't we able to, maybe structure our laws around it? I don't know. To me, I have to say I really liked it, because to me it validated a lot of stuff that I think I'd already kind of internalized, and it gave it
a voice, yeah, in a very clear way too. And then I was like, is this? I don't know. I think in a way too, because I'm also heterosexual. I don't know if I ever mentioned this to you.
Oh, not during. You're gonna.
Know. Sorry. Yeah. I mean,
During
I can break
Pride
it to
Month.
you like this, but I do think that like I never even really thought about how that affected same-sex couples either. You know what I mean? Because a lot of
Privilege is everything you don't have to think about.
It is. It's like, damn, yeah, I guess that is something that you would have to. And even when you're not, though, because like that was the other part. Like a lot, most of these friendships were non-sexual. They weren't like each other's significant others in the traditional way that we think about it. But at the same time, they were. So like I was like, damn, that's crazy. Like if I was like, this is my person, this is the person who, if I was plugged up to a breathing machine, I would want for them to be that they're the person I trust with my life, even though we're not married. Like I do think that that's really fucked up if you don't have any sort of way to honor that, or to have that, taken into consideration.
Or like if you die, it's like, damn, like this
I don't
person
get
was
nothing.
dependent on me financially, like. They had I had insurance through them, like the house, like being able to transfer property without it being taxed. Like these were like all things that, like I said, like if you don't have to think about it, it's like, oh, whatever, nobody care. But like now it's like, yeah, this really matters.
Yeah, it does. And it just goes back to show how like, marriage at its genesis was really about transfer of property and stuff like that. And so that's probably why it's still kind of like that. You know what I mean? Like it just... But I do think it challenges us to think about it in a different way. So for me, I don't know. Do you have a soulmate, do you think?
Probably you.
Really?
Yeah, more than likely.
I didn't know that.
That's why
I feel sorry for you. Why would you? Because now I feel like I'm not living up to that. Friend. Damn it.
No, like I remember when I first read about that, where like when they were talking about like soulmates and stuff like that, where it was like, yeah, like your soulmate's not gonna be some dude. They don't get you. Like it would have been like, oh, I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. Like, yeah, because that's, like I said, so much of our relationship isn't even articulated because it's just understood. Like there's an understood language that's an undercurrent in our relationship where it's just like, I never have to make excuses. I never have to accuse you. You never accuse me of lying, because it was just like,
Lying.
like for what? Like, no, it's just a sort of like, okay. Perfect example, because this was like years and years ago, but I as many times as I can, I'll bring up Neil Brennan.
Okay.
But when he talks about his relationship with Dave Chappelle, and just about how ever since they were basically teenagers, they've just had this connection. And Neil talked about how it made romantic relationships harder because he wouldn't have that spark with romantic partners. And since he knew how good that spark felt, that's all, like everything else just paled in comparison. So he's like,
nigga, you gay.
huh?
Nigga, you gay. That's
he
pop
wasn't-
culture's answer, though.
Exactly, where it's
Which
just
is
like,
crazy.
and that's why men are especially having a loneliness epidemic, because if you try to have any kind of intimacy or connection with another man, it's like, yeah, nigga, you gay. It's like, no homo. It's like, yes, like, no homo, but I love you, man. It's like, like this idea, or just so having that.
Romances are so adorable too, though. I love
They
when I can observe those.
and needed. Like you need that. Like I said, we need all the different types of love, and like she said, it comes back from just our development and attachment from when we're infants. Like we need those connections. So this idea that, so I think part of the reason why I have trouble like in my romantic relationships, it's your fault.
That is really messed up.
Yeah. Because like if it's not going to be as fun and easy as, you know what I mean? Like
right.
Male, I don't know if you know this, but male-female relationships are fraught with tons of like insecurity and mistrust. Like I hate to be the one to break it to you, but like there are romantic, a lot of times different, just I want to say male female, but just like romantic relationships can be tricky. And so a lot of times like the stress of that is just like, I would just rather be around somebody who likes me. Like if,
but what about, let me pose a question. So in that vein, so you know, you hear a lot of women say, I don't have no female friends. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't trust
I love women. You can't be trusting them. Like,
so what's your take on that? Because I mean, we're talking about platonic friendships and how
I think that's born out of misogyny, and like I said, a lot of women internalize misogyny as well, not just men. So
say more.
I think that I mean, but a lot of times those will be the same people who'll be like, yeah, you can't trust these niggas. It's like, well, you've left out like all the. Like there's
all the girls.
Well, I mean, there's non-binary people, but you'll find that people are just people. So you're going to have to navigate.
Actually, I like that.
That's a good one.
Fun.
But I'm always disappointed to hear that, because like I said, you need to have all kind of friends.
I'm always worried for that gal.
Yeah, like that's the whole thing. And
it's like,
you know what I really think that is though? I have had thoughts on that. I think for women who say those kinds of things, they're used to the attention of men who are trying to sleep with them. And those men tend to flatter your worldview and don't contradict you or challenge you because they have their own goals. Whereas women, we're like, or anyone platonic who's not trying to sleep with you, they don't have a motivation to lie to you. Yeah. Like where it's just like, oh, let me help you. Like right. This is like, actually, because we say this on the show. Did we get this from Eddie Huang? Where the truth will set you free, but first it'll piss you off. Mm-hmm. So, you know, a lot of times, one of the things I find most frustrating a lot of times in dating and romance is just how much men are not willing to be honest with me. Oh. And I find that deeply unattractive and irritating, and it puts me off.
Unattractive?
I don't find... And I get it, because men are just like, you say you want me to tell you the truth, but that's always blown up in my face, so I'm not falling for it. Mm. So I kind of get that, but at the same time, it's like, I don't like...
This feels like it's going to blow up in my face anyway.
Yeah, like I don't like bullshit has a way of doing that as well. Mm-hmm. So I would just kind of like, why don't we just figure out if we like each other now by being honest with each other? And if we don't like each other, then how many people are there in the world?
Billions
with a B.
Yeah.
And I mean,
which is unfathomable to the human brain, honestly, how much that is. But I think that's also the point too, because a lot of times men and women don't really like each other. Do you know what I mean? And I don't mean to say like you don't enjoy a man's company or a woman's company. It's like you, to an extent, you do. Because there are things that you like about those interactions, but then at its core, though, because it's so yin and yang and so juxtaposed, it's like, yo, there's in doses, like, you know what I mean?
Definitely
like
doses.
I don't want to have to pretend like I really care about all the shit you care about. When you look at
ancient societies, men and women very rarely live together.
They're in groups, right? The women are in groups doing this
They're
stuff.
In the little women, yeah, like everything's kind of set up where it's like we see each other when we want to.
Yeah.
Or in its designated times, but necessarily not all the time. I wanted to talk about, was it Art and Marco? That it was a gay man and a straight man who were basically in an OSO relationship.
Yes.
And they were, I guess Art was the gay one because
Yes.
he decided he was just going to be celibate, and
because of his religious
for religious reasons. He didn't want to piss God off with
Right,
the
of
gay
course. He
stuff.
doesn't like
And so, and then the other guys, what was his name? Mari. I feel like it started with an M. I'm just going to say M.
Okay.
I think it was Marco. So, but he was straight and he was trying to date. But like he had so much trouble like explaining to women that he wasn't gay. And I can understand why it might be hard to believe that. Like I said, like
He's like, you live with this gay man.
and he's your significant other.
He's your significant, and he's your bestie times 10.
Like you guys go on trips. Like it's very
We're
Bert
going
and
to
Ernie.
Hawaii together.
It sheds new light on Bert and Ernie.
it-
where it's like, this is my buddy. It's
For real,
like,
for real.
For real though. Like it's just comfortable. That's my dog. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. And he ain't going nowhere.
life makes sense around him.
Yeah.
So, but he eventually did find a woman who was just like, oh yeah,
Good for you.
yeah, like I can totally, and like she moved in and everything. Like it was like
Takes a certain.
but that's the thing. Like you have to find your person and your people and your tribe. Like it has to be someone who believes you when you tell them stuff and then can accept it. And it does get frustrating because it is, especially when you're in unique situations, it's gonna be hard to find an individual who can accept that. Because at first I was just like, oh dang, how's that gonna work out? But they worked it out.
The hopefulness of these stories made me feel good because I do think that life will have you thinking, like, especially if you're not coupled and married and in a long-term relationship with somebody, that you're just gonna live this lonely spinsterhood where you're just,
Or it's like, yeah, like where you'll be the crazy cat lady or something.
it's like,
or it's just like, her potential was never fulfilled.
Or something's wrong with you. Like that's also
Yeah.
a narrative in pop culture where it's like, oh, she's not married and she's this old, even though, especially like beautiful
She can't keep
women,
no man.
Like they did that with
yeah.
Hallie. It's like, oh, she must be crazy. 'cause
Yeah,
nobody-
she's running them
she
off.
It's like she probably just actually likes herself and
Has standards.
has standards, or maybe she didn't for a while and then decided she did. You know what I'm saying? Like
That
it
happens.
could be, yeah, like
It can happen.
I don't know what the true story of that is, but I do think that I don't know, like for anybody reading these stories, I hope you get some sort of the silver lining of it all, because there's so much beauty you can get from platonic friendships or even just deep interpersonal relationships with your friends. You know what I'm saying? Whether they're same or opposite sex. I think friendship is something we need to invest in more because you got to have them. Just like you got to have the people helping you raise your kids.
Gotta have
if
it.
you have them, if you're lucky enough to have them. And really, like you say, really cherish, like pouring into them, because those are the people that support you when your personal relationships blow up.
You know,
like who are you gonna call when your romantic who?
Ghostbusters?
Think about it. No,
Oh.
they don't exist.
They don't.
You know?
That's right. They
So,
never
like,
pick up my calls.
If you've isolated all of your friends to only pour into this one relationship, like to me, it just seems like a poor business model.
It does. Because once again, because these relationships aren't permanent all the time.
And then to me, it makes you a less attractive person
Yeah.
in general. Like if I don't understand that other people don't admire you and want to spend time with you, I'm like, so are you
So
a
what's
dud?
your thing? Like, what's the problem?
Like
It's
people aren't fighting to be around you. Not fighting, but you know what I'm saying? Like you should, like it's nice when it's like, oh my gosh, like, you know, other people want to spend time with this person, especially when you know it's not because they're like Meg the Stallion or something.
Well.
You know what I mean? Like, or because they have notoriety. Like that can also
Yeah.
be sketchy. But I'm just saying, if you're just a regular person and it's like you have a full circle, and it even if it's not a million people, it could just be a handful of folks. I just think it makes you a more attractive person when you are a little bit more well-rounded with your interpersonal relationships. You know, I think it looks crazy when it's like, no, he's my best friend and he's my only one, and we just
We
are
do everything together. We
And
do
no
this.
shade, like no, that's cute and fun for a little while. Like I get it. There'll be stages where it's like that, but I think at the same time, like if you're the same kind of person who you won't go out with your friends because you're like, no, he's the center of my world and I can only, it's like, girl, you might want to rethink that.
For
Because this stage that you're in right now is not going to be the permanent stage. There's going to be lots of ebbs and flows. So.
Yeah. It reminded me a lot. Have you ever seen the show Unlikely Animal Friends?
Absolutely.
It is
I've heard of it.
a lot of these stories made me think of that show. where you would have an unlikely pairing of animals. One that drove me, that I thought was just so cute, was this donkey and goat that just became besties, and they were separated. They ended up being separated and became colossally depressed. And then when they were finally able to figure out what the problem was, the goat, it could actually smell. You know, they have these intense senses of smell. So when when she just got caught, couldn't even see the donkey, but blood. It's like, oh crap! It started like, got up, was like, oh come on. It was so cute, and it's like, oh, but it's like, it's crazy that even on that level where it's just like, that's my dog, man. That's my dog. Like, oh yeah, like my friend's here. Yes, let's go.
And the energy that you get from your people though is it's second to none. It's so cute because I was talking about my daughter's birthday. I was like, who do you want to invite to your party? You know what I'm saying? And it was like she named her favorite cousins who she's always around. There's 4 of them, her brother, and then her
squad.
one friend from school, her bestie from school. And I'm like, well, what about this person? What about? She was like, like she was like, I don't need to see them on my birthday. That's what she said.
I get that.
It was like, you know, nothing wrong with them. It was almost like she wanted me to know, like, I'm not like trying to down them. I'm just saying the energy that I'm trying to create for my birthday party doesn't include them, and I don't mean that.
Yeah, like I don't want to make work. I don't want to have
to try. I don't want to have to be involved in extraness.
Because you do get different energies with different groups.
The fact that you're 10 and you're curating your friend group or your interpersonal circle to the point where you're like, I just want to feel comfortable. I want to be able to show up and be myself. I don't want to have to be involved in extra social shit in the midst of a party.
Where it's like, I got to make you feel okay.
I love that. Or now I got to come over here and yeah, like all of that stuff. And so I thought,
it's not fun.
That's beautiful. Good for
it
you.
Is.
You know, so, I mean, if you can cultivate that at a young age, I say more power to you. Very, very nice. Let's see. So some other discussion points just quickly. Let's see. We talked about...
Oh, Joy and Hannah. That was the part where I had to actually pause the book for a while because I think I described it as hysterics. Like I was crying so hard.
I did laugh a little when she said that.
Because it wasn't just crying. Like it was a story of I think they were kind of different ages too.
They were. It was
which
like
was kind of which was unusual, but she was just struggling so much with being understood as to why she was so upset when this person passed. Because people were like, you should be over it by now. And it was like
so 2003.
Like, yeah. And while she was describing it, I was just a wreck. There was a lot going on, but like, and I'm just an emotional person. It just is what it is. And she's a good writer. Like the way she was describing it and laying it out was just, you could tell she really did a lot of research. Like this was obviously years in the making. Like she really, really went hard in the paint to accurately portray these relationships. So that was another one too, where it was also difficult because she wasn't related to this person in any way. They weren't married, but this was her person.
Yeah, but I love her.
And she was also really mad because she felt like she was in denial about dying. Like she had...
It was cancer.
Was it cancer? Ovarian cancer. And she was, she had gotten all these trials. She would be in remission and it would come back. That was it, because it kept coming back.
Times,
and then it was just so much going on where I was just like, oh, I can't take this right now. But...
Oh, it was sad.
Yeah.
And it is sad when it's like there's not the vocabulary around close interpersonal friendships to describe how you're feeling. You know, I liked that they mentioned how, like, you know, friendships can end sometimes or shift or change. And it's like, there's no real grieving process. You can't be like, I need the day off because, you know, me and my friend of, 20 years, like this thing that we had this strong bond together, but it's not there anymore. Like nobody gives a fuck about that.
Yeah, and they'll be like, get to work.
Get to work. Put that coochie, bitch.
Yeah, it's like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, what you talking about? But yeah, it is kind of sad though, because it can take up a big section of your life and it can be around a lot of formative stuff. So I do think that, I don't know, I like opening up that conversation and really just having, more conversations around the fact that like friendships really do shape a lot of the support that we feel, just being seen. A lot of our happiness and fulfillment, to me, comes from like your friendships.
And it's not
stuff
that
like
non-traditional, even though it's not something that's depicted in our traditional media. I think that her finding these examples, it was interesting too, because it reminded me of a Truman Capote book I read, The Grass Harp.
Okay.
Where there was a pair of friends, and it was very similar, because at first when they're describing the pair, I'm like, well, is that her lover? But it wasn't. But no, that was just her person. You know what I mean? You just knew that was.
I mean, it's like that. I mean, I have, there's like I feel that. I feel that with Nick. I feel that with you. I feel that I have, it's like this sisterhood that's unspoken. That's like, man, there's something about this person that is really special. You know what I mean? I wish that for everybody though. Like I hope that everybody has. That person that they can really
and like don't fight it where it's just like, oh, this is weird, like are you like it doesn't have to be weird. Like it's actually very, very normal.
You'd make it weird if you made it weird.
You make it weird.
Just keep it regular, guys.
Do you want to take a break? I do want to take. How'd you know?
Because you looked around.
I did. That's what I do when I'm like,
take a break. We'll be back. We're back, guys. Welcome back from the break. What a deeply personal book this week.
It was. I thought it was very apropos for our podcast, because I think anyone who's ever had a podcast that's gone on for a while, your co-podcast hosts become your OSOs.
Probably.
For sure. Because that's why you see a lot of, I think that was one of the things we talked about before we started the podcast, about how like we don't want this to affect our friendship.
I know.
Because it's like, I don't want to end up like those podcasters who hate each other.
Oh man.
That'd
be sad.
It would be. But I think it is a testament to like how strong our friendship is, that we're like, well, for one, we haven't run out of things to say to each other.
That part.
It's like, if anything, it's like cutting this down so that it's not a 4-hour podcast.
Like we've been here for so long.
And it's like, because we'll keep talking. When we turn this off, we just keep talking.
We talked for like an hour and a half before we start recording. Okay?
Got a lot to
So
say.
just know that. But also, no one's throwing a lot of money at us either. I think that money can be, no matter what kind of relationship.
Yeah.
So we haven't been tested to the limits now.
True.
Shit could still fall apart. But
Yeah.
I hope not.
Nah. I don't really care about money.
Yeah, you don't. I care a little bit about it.
Someone has to.
But not, I care more about my relationships, though. I think that when I observe people who are in the limelight or who built their careers and have a lot of money, it's like you can tell the people who don't have those friendships around them. And I was talking to my sister-in-law. She went to the Meg Thee Stallion concert. She took her daughter, who's a teenager.
I'm not jealous.
She said it was such a good show, but she was like, I love how deeply personal she's getting about some of her stories and stuff like that, because she was sharing how, mental health is important and having people around you. And she was like, she was sharing a story where she was like, I'm outside the club like crying because I'm sad or whatever. I don't know about what. And then the people who are around her like, girl, come on, let's get in here. Let's get drunk. Let's get to the turn up. Blah, blah. Like nobody was like, okay, we don't have to go.
Yeah.
Like, are you okay? Like, no, we good. We can come back. We can always, the club ain't going nowhere.
It sure isn't.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like when you're around people who really just, and again, that's what I was talking about before. Like it's easy to be somebody's friend because you're getting something out of it that's tangible, like, seats, or notoriety or power, privilege, whatever it may be. But like, when you're not getting nothing out of it, when it's like my own interest in this endeavor is just your own personal safety, happiness, those kinds of things, I think that's a different proposition. So
I'm sure that's a very fun concert.
Extra fun.
Yeah. They seem like they're really good at their jobs.
Yes.
It's not lackluster. They're not phoning it in.
They're not. That's the thing. I feel like with the girls, they seem to be having fun and trying. Mm-hmm. Whereas sometimes, and I mean, listen, I'm no rap expert here. I'm no, you know what I'm saying? I
feel like you're an expert rapist.
I'm just definitely not. But it's like, just hearing that and then like casually hearing some other rap, not talking about like Kendrick, because like that's, you know, something different. But the younger, it's like, it's not, you know, it's very Percocet-y and
Oh yeah.
I'm high. And
You don't know that Adderall.
I don't even know
Piping
what
her
you're
down on that Adderall.
talking about.
Adderall.
Yeah.
Adderall.
Yeah. It's so, you know, if I had to compare it, like I rather
Xanax be their hardest bars.
That's it. Yeah, that part. And see, this is why she gets paid for it.
Yeah.
That's actually, that's kind of like.
She said it really well.
Yeah, and she's
and,
in shape.
and prolific.
Yeah.
Like there's just like, wow, she has a lot of hits.
And what's crazy though is that I don't really follow them because like Glorilla, I couldn't name a song because I just don't follow it like that.
I'm F-R-E-E, fuck nigga free. That mean I ain't gotta worry about a motherfucker cheating. And I'm S-I-N-G-L-E again. Outside hanging out the window with my wretched ass friends. You remember that song?
I do.
Okay.
And thank you for mentioning that.
You're welcome. I feel like it was her breakout hit.
It was. Jazz hands. Fuck nigga free. Ta-da. No, I
Twerking on those
appreciate
headlights.
that. See, it's almost like for me, I have to be in vacation mode to truly enjoy those songs. Like I could get it in. Like let me be like where I don't. Cause like when am I listening to that? You know, I usually have my kids in my car. Like I'm not really listening to it like that.
I just
and when I'm by
listen to
myself, I'm
yeah.
listening to people talk mostly. So I'm not listening to music a lot. And or if I am, I
Now,
like
what
chill
about
music.
when you're jogging?
Nope. I'll ride my bike and be listening to books.
Really? When I'm exercising, it's really difficult for me to concentrate on like audiobook. So when I'm exercising, I have to listen
I'll
to
listen to
music.
Missy.
Oh, okay, to get you hype.
The best.
That makes sense.
Or like Bombs Over Baghdad or something.
That always gets me over the hill. Whenever I drive, powerful music, electric revival.
Yeah, that.
Powerful music.
Yeah,
Yeah, when I
that's
have
a
to
nice
do that
long one,
last.
too.
Yeah, when I have to do that last little. Yeah, but yeah, I listen to. I feel like what's another Glorilla song?
I don't work out that much either, so that's the
Fair.
other thing. But you're right, because that's the other context.
It gets
in
me
which,
hype.
but
Oh, like
because
blow the
haven't been
whistle.
working out,
Woo.
blow the whistle, absolutely. I'll end up going to old stuff more so than the new stuff.
Oh, for sure, because I know all the words.
Well,
8-Ball MJG is
I don't know.
fantastic to run
They
to.
go, okay. Let's
Yeah.
go. What are you running to from them?
Stop playing games, ho.
Oh, stop playing games. So that's festive. I like it.
That really helps to
Gets
get
the
me to.
people going.
It's a motivation. It's like you playing games, so
Bum, bum,
stop playing
bum,
games,
bum,
so.
bum,
And, but then it sucks because like
bum,
Diddy's on that.
Well, everybody's on that. Kanye's on stuff that I'll run to. Fuck it. I mean, like,
Oh, I still like
Bum, bum,
Kanye though.
bum, bum.
Yeah, Niggas in Paris is
Yeah.
very good to run
Yeah.
to. Power.
Yeah.
Power is the
Yeah,
perfect
that's a good
cadence to
one.
run to. Workout
And I hate
plan.
running, but yes, workout plan.
Well, that's a really good one. To me, Kanye hasn't raped, so I haven't taken him off the playlist yet.
So the rape is what does it.
A lot of times that is
Okay.
what makes me like, oh, I can't really bop to this.
But slavery is a choice that you're cool with jogging into that.
Well, he was just, he was on his mess. After his mama died, I kind of just gave him a pass.
Did you?
Yeah,
You just get a perpetual
he's
pass?
just wrong. Like my whole thing is like, what has Kanye done that is objectionable? He said a lot of stuff, but like for a lot of people, it's what they've done. Like you don't really hear about. You're not gonna find, I don't think, any videos of him like beating somebody's ass or.
No, but he's just wildly. He's just.
But he also has mental, like I do believe he has serious mental. It'd be the same thing like if I saw someone who's like maybe like has a broken ankle and they're hobbling. I'm not gonna make fun of them for hobbling. You're
It's
not
like,
healthy.
What did it look like when he did it?
So
though?
like when when people aren't mentally healthy and they say things that don't sound mentally healthy, he's meeting.
You know what though? So maybe the problem with Kanye is the people that still platform him, even though he's not. Like at some point,
like
when
he
do we
needs to.
say,
Like I said, when we said
why are
like
you showing porn videos to your?
when you said you were like when there's people around, you can tell when people they don't have like people who are concerned with them around them,
Or you
can
don't have
tell
friends.
like that's his situation,
Mm-hmm.
where you don't have someone who's
we
like,
talked about that. Yes.
Like where are you
Where
with your
people
men?
at? Where your mans
Because like
and
I
them?
said, like especially for people like, because him and Jay used to be close, Jay-Z, and you can tell like he took a step back because it's like I got kids and a wife, like I can't really be playing these games with you, like I have to prioritize them.
Right.
But like there was no one in his
that
life.
was in 440. He put it in.
Yeah,
He was
like, I
"Nigga,
wish
the
I
house
could-
is burning down, bitch. I'm with my wife." Okay?
Yeah, like this is, and I feel like any good friend is going to understand, like, yeah, you need to put everything on hold to get your life. The same way I think our friendship works, because I'm like, you running over to your husband again? It's like, that would be insane.
It's like, I promised. Like, what the fuck?
God, I promise.
What
That's what that whole white dress
I would
day
come
was
with
about.
you. I mean, I would come with you, but I promise. Yeah, like, can't go back now.
Well, and like I said, like that's appropriate and expected. Like to me, that's the thing. Is like where, like, because how else are you gonna make this work if you don't spend time with this dude? Like,
He be here all the time. He be hungry.
yeah,
And he likes me, I guess.
Yes.
I don't know why that is, but somehow.
you're deeply likable. I could see where that could happen. Where he's like, for me, I love the one thing I really love about men is they very rarely second guess themselves about what they want.
They just know they're right. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's one thing that amuses me about my husband a lot. He's so funny. I'll be like, this dude, he's just fun to watch. I'm like, he's pretty ridiculous. I guess I enjoy ridiculousness. People. Yeah, a little bit.
Well, you
It
you
can
have
be
to
trying
break it
at
up.
times, but yeah, but
Sure.
it's also quite entertaining at times.
Sure.
He's mostly solid though, but
Yeah.
it's like, sir.
But are we rating it? Have we rated
we
anything
haven't
in a
gone
while?
back. No, we haven't even came back from the break.
Oh, we're not?
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
But I
Girl,
feel like, no,
yes,
but
we
wait.
came back from the.
Wait, but then you said this can't go on there, so then I
But
thought
I
we
just
were
that was
off
just
still.
the Meg thing. No,
Oh,
we've
so
been
we're
back.
back.
I just
Oh.
was gonna take that out. Like it was gonna be a seamless
Damn.
trans.
So now it's not. Okay.
I was like, do you have to mention now? Do I need to start making a plan?
Honestly, you should. I was thinking I need to do Sudokus or I need to do something. I need to exercise my brain and my body because it's been bad. So this is the track that I'm on, and this is why I have friends, because I'm glad you're questioning this now. Yes, you probably do need to put a dementia plan in because
Well, and I mean, I think about that quite a bit myself. Like
Yeah.
I do the Wordle.
Yeah.
I take different ways home from work.
see, and
to
I don't.
make
I'm like I'm
new-
doing everything that's easy, and I need to challenge myself in a lot of ways.
Try to make new synapses.
And my eyes have been twitching for like the last 2 weeks.
Oh,
I can't get them to stop. I know,
no.
it's crazy. It's doing it right now.
You know what? I think we need to like run away from home. May, I'm putting it on May. May was I'm gonna just say it. May was a motherfucker.
It was so full of abundance.
It was like almost too much.
Abundance times like a million.
Man.
But that makes me think, like, are we prepared to elevate? I think about that all the time. I'm like, maybe we don't really want.
I'll just throw stuff off of the. I'll just let stuff languish, like because
What?
that's the thing. Well, well, it's just I understand because we can't do everything. So like, there's things I'm willing to let go so that I can go for the next level.
Oh.
So like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do all the stuff I was doing before. Like I'm.
So I can do this now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I already feel like I can't do all the things I have right now.
Oh yeah, it's fine. You do what you can. It's never. What are you gonna do? Everything?
I just said my eyes were twitching, and so
Yeah,
I don't want to be outside the club crying. And you're like, come on, girl, let's just get in there and pop that coochie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just telling you right now, my eyes are twitching right now.
I'd be
At
like,
this.
no, let's go. If you're having a freak out, let's fuck all this. Let's go.
Okay, good.
Let's just get it
Thank you.
together.
Thank you.
It's like we can just go get some frozen yogurt.
Yeah, we'll come back. Some warm soup.
Get some froyo. Or yeah, soup. You know, I love a
Warm
soup.
'Cause we're
I've been wanting some like vegetable bean soup.
Really?
Mm-hmm. With cornbread.
Ooh, I like cornbread.
Yeah.
The good kind, not the flavorless, crumbly kind that you're like, who made this and why?
Wow, that was shady.
Was
So
it?
do
It
you
wasn't to nobody in particular. I'm just saying. I like to be specific about my likes and wants, okay? When I can.
Yeah, I need the
So
two-egg cornbread.
anyway, friend,
Yes.
so,
Well, I was gonna say, do you want to rate it?
yeah.
Because we actually read a book.
We did.
We're
I'm
all the
proud
way
of
through.
us.
I am too.
Yeah, I'm very, very proud of us. Yeah, rate the book. You go first.
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it 4.5 out of 5. I guess Power of Attorney.
Okay. All right, I like
I was trying to think of things that featured in the book a lot, but
okay. All right. If I had to rate this book, I would give it a 4 out of 5 also. But I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 arm locks. Let's demonstrate.
oh,
One of these.
keep smiling, keep shining. Know that you can always count on me for sure.
Wow.
That's what friends are for.
Okay, cut.
And if
We're gonna end that right there.
okay,
Yeah,
know that I'll be.
No. We said cut. Do you know what cut means, friend? That means stop. Hey,
And
they've
I
had enough.
want to thank you.
She's unstoppable. She said it. She has said it plenty of times.
Such a good song.
Man, keep smiling, guys. Yeah, I mean, friendships, significant others.
It's what makes life good.
It's what makes life good. I promise you. And I think that if I was in an interpersonal relationship that didn't understand or value the fact that I find so much joy in my friends, like if my husband took it personal that I'm sitting down here with you right now talking to you for hours on end, or just anything. If I'm like, I want to make time for that, like that's super important to me. And to me, that's a deal breaker in my interpersonal relationships too. Like, I think one good signal of a good partner is somebody who embraces, and also, like, even if it's hard if you don't like your significant other's friends, as long as you respect them as people. Like, maybe you don't enjoy their company, but I think it's important to have that balance of like, okay, I have my person, my significant other, if it's a romantic relationship, but they have to respect the fact that you have other friendships and that you get so many things from those other friendships. I would say if you're with somebody who doesn't get that, that's probably not the person.
Yeah, that's not a good sign. That's a red flag.
Red flag.
That
And
is
if they're
a-
isolating you, if they're trying to keep you away from the people who they know keep it real with you and who are, have your best interests at heart, then that's a problem as well. So yeah, friends are the best. Significant others are not always the
And
ones
friends
we
are the
build like
family
this.
you can choose.
They are.
That
Choose
was
well.
Do you remember that from the end of Batman, Lego Batman?
No, I never saw it.
You're my best friend, and we can't lose. And friends are the family you can choose. 1-1.
See, and that's why I love her, because she
Best
bursts into
friends.
song.
My friends are the best. That was such a good movie. I really recommend everyone
Just go see it now.
just go pull it up now. It's a really good
I've
movie.
literally never seen it. My kids would have to ask me.
It's such a fun
I'm
movie.
sure they like it.
I've watched it so many times with my kids. Like, it's one of our favorite movies. Like, it's funny every time. It's like Friday. Every
I'm gonna
time
have
we
to
watch
watch
it, it's like, oh, here comes this part.
I never think about it.
It's like nothing bad ever happens to me.
I've literally never heard about it. So there's
The
that.
Lego franchise is solid, especially the little superhero stuff and like the Star Wars.
Cute and fun.
It's so cute and fun. Or even like the bit in Spider-Man, like the Across the Spider-Verse,
yeah,
where they
there
have the
was
little
a-
Lego scene and stuff like that.
That was cute.
It's pretty great.
Okay, I like it, friend. Well, on that note, there's so many things that I feel like I could continue to say about the
Friends
other significant other. One thing I would have to say, if you are gonna read this book, if you're somebody who maybe doesn't have a lot of experience with, or you don't talk a lot about or read a lot about same-sex relationships, like it does come up a lot. It's a reoccurring theme in the book.
There's a lot of diversity in it.
There's a lot of diversity, and
Yeah.
diversity isn't just black and white. Like, it's also in the way we have relationships.
Yeah, like different abilities and
ages, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, backgrounds. She brings up class quite a bit.
Yeah. So be prepared for that.
Yeah.
If that's something that you lack diversity in, it could be like, oh, they keep talking about this, or whatever. It could challenge that. So just know that is something that comes up a lot. But I really enjoyed the book. I really love the vantage point of just highlighting, those other important relationships, because they are important. They bring so many wonderful things. And so with that, you guys, let's move on to the wheel spin. What do you think, friend? Spin it! Yay! And take a look.
It's in a book, a reading rainbow. Yeah, we're gonna watch Butterfly in the Sky.
Yes, we are.
The what is it streaming on?
It's a documentary, and I don't know where it's streaming, but we're gonna figure
We'll
it out.
find
We're gonna
it.
watch it, and we're gonna talk about it next week because
Yeah.
we're cool, super cool. Definitely grew up loving reading Rainbow, LeVar Burton. We've talked about him so many times on this show.
We've read his books.
We've read his book, and we just, I mean,
He's
what an opportunity.
Gordy LaForge.
Listen, he is an icon living, and we're
He's
gonna
Kunta
give him.
Kinte.
We're giving him his flowers next week.
He was on Community.
Oh, I saw that. And Childish Gambino, a.k.a. Donald Glover, lost his shit.
He did.
I have seen that.
He's like, I told you, I didn't. I wish I do better.
Because he's iconic.
Yeah,
man.
it
Like,
would
are
be.
you
But he
kidding
would
me?
be so nice. Like, yeah.
Man,
Because he did, we can.
I love him so hard. And he doesn't even know me, but he did so much for the culture. Love him down. So can't wait to talk about that wonderful documentary next week and shine a light on Reading Rainbow and how it shaped us and, our love for reading.
A generation.
And books and generations, absolutely. So you guys, as always, be involved in the things that you love. It's so important. I'm so lucky to be able to do something with one of my besties here and, definitely one of my other significant others in life. So hopefully you guys are building relationships around those people in your world. And what about you, friend?
Your body belongs to you. So if your best friend asks you to do a podcast, say yes.
Yeah. That's how we got here. So, all right, guys. Well, we'll be back next week for another fun episode. So until next time, peace.
Before we go, we must give thanks to Urban Nerd for providing our music, and legal services were handled by Trezanae M. Atkins. If you like what you heard, please feel free to join us every Wednesday for another fake-ass book club. Cheers.
Thank you guys for listening. You can check us out at thefabpodcast.com. Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you're listening right now. We want to hear from you. Come put it in our life. Thanks again, and until next time, peace, love, and the Fake Ass Book Club. We out.